Ito ang inyong lingkod na nagbabalik upang magbigay ng mga balitang walang bias at pawang katotohanan lamang. Ito ang Bayang Pinas. Ang isyung ito ay naging usap-usapan sa buong bansa at iba't ibang social media platforms. Ngunit bago tayong magtungo sa aktual na video ay tayo muna ay magbasa ng mga komento, hinaing at opinyon ng ating mga netizen. Sagot na ang 32 million voters kasi may assembly na soon. Gawa kayo flyers at ipamahagi sa mga tao na may 32 million voters assembly. EDSA ang sagot. You can't lead the country if you don't love the country and the people. Si tatay lang ang totoong nagmamahal, pinaglaban tayo sa mga tiwaling. PRRD, the best president ever. Grabe sila magtanong pero mga tao di nila masagot. Saan sila pinupunta ang pera din nila? Saan po ba ang flash floods po? At mga mamamahalin na mga gamit, sasakyan at iba pa po. The case of confidential funds of Vice President Sara is already in the Supreme Court, so it's useless VP Sara to attend the Congress hearing. The Congress is always humiliating VP Sara. Nagiba na ang tono ng mga tuwadcom ngayon. Pakita naman kayo ng gilas dyan, tuwadcom. I-contempt nyo na ang mga tambaluslos kayo. Kausapin nyo muna ang mga resource persons nyo bago kayo mag-imbestiga. Mukhang malinis talaga si VP Sara. Kahit takutin sa contempt mga opisyal ng DAC, COA at OVP ay walang nag-uugnay sa mga na nagkapera si Vice President. After mabusisi funds ni Vice President Sara, kayo naman dapat ma-audit ng Televice. Malamang shoot kayong lahat na mga congressman. Well, para nga sa kabuang detalye at impormasyon ay panoorin na lamang ang buong video at salamat na rin sa ating mga solid viewers sa walang sawang pagsuporta. At kung bago naman sa ating channel ay syempre huwag kakalimutang mag-subscribe, pindutin ang notification bell, piliin na rin ang all upang laging maging updated sa mga balitang bago, totoo at walang bias. Dito sa channel ng Bayan, ang Bayang Pinas. Huwag din pong kakalimutang mag-iwan ng like at i-share ang ating mga videos. Muli po mga kaibigan, maraming salamat and God bless.
Paduano.
Thank you, Chairman. May I proceed? Chairman, since the Bureau of Treasury is not present in today's hearing, may I move to invite the representative from the Bureau of the Treasury, especially those representatives present during the previous hearing for consistencies, Mr. Chairman. So move.
COMSEC, please take note of
Noted,
the
Your Honor.
representation of Congressman Paduano.
Mr. Chairman, why we should invite BTR? Because issues about policies with regards to GMC, to regards to the Memorandum Circular 97-02 from COA, and MC 02 of 2019 by the BTR should be, we need to check the consistencies of such GMC and those memorandum circular, Mr. Chairman, with regards to special cash advances. Now, COA, please lang po, please prepare the next hearing yung question of the requirements for special cash advancement for the SDOs, dun po sa mga accountable officers, especially in question of their capacity to refund just in case amount being given to them as authorized by their principal. In this case, it is the Vice President. Kasi po, kailangan natin po yun, no? Sorry? Please use the microphone.
Your Honor po, may I be recognized?
Yes, Ms. Hemora.
Your
you're
Honor,
recognized.
is it for the next hearing? May we be clarified, please?
For the next hearing, kaya nga pinapaunahan ko na po kayo the questions that I might raise, no? Basta MC 7-002, BTR 02 of 2019 for the Bureau of Treasury, and yung GMC, no? How you check na lang po how consistent, because in the GMC may problema po doon. Kasi the requirements are being laid and the provision with regard to the MC of COA 97-02, napakalinaw po, nandun yung salin. But in the GMC, wala po. Then I will also discuss and ask about the salary grade of all those SDOs that was given an authority from the Vice President. Kasi ang appointing officer is the Vice President. Kasi po, if you look at the salary grade, but of course, salary grade is not only the basis, no? Mr. Chairman, but in fact, of course, salary grade is not only the basis. That is why one of the requirements should be the SALN. Because in the case of Mr. Edward Farda, his salary grade is only 17 with a salary of 41,508. Pero yung encashment niya in one check is 37 million. So we have to check on it. Kasi po, based on the record, napakarami pong mga officers in the office of the Vice President na mataas pong posisyon, ba't hindi sila binigyan? For example, in the case of Argonza Belinda, ang posisyon niya po ay Supervising Administrative Officer. 75,000 yung ano niya, salary niya. In the case of Cesar Abalon, Chief Education Program Specialist, doon po sa DepEd, ang salary grade niya is 101,000. Why a 41,000 with a salary grade 17 was given the authority to encash checks worth 37 million. And it happens not only once, it happens several times. So that will be the question that will be raised by this representation in the next hearing, especially on matters of policy. No, because sabi ko na nga, if the office of the Vice President to the legal department is questioning about jurisdiction of this committee to investigate such government funds and expenditures, we have the jurisdiction because we are now questioning the implementation and some policies of COA, of the BTR, in this particular case. Now, so please, Comsec, paki-ano lang po, paki-inform yung BTR, that will be the question that will be raised in the next hearing po.
Noted, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, to the land bank, of course, a while ago, you mentioned about that you received the invitation in a short notice. That was just yesterday at 4 p.m. But let me remind you, I will not ask the details, but I will ask you now about the policies. And let me remind you, and for the record, we will not ask about specific bank details. And you cannot invoke the bank secrecy law. When in fact, that's why in this hearing, again, question of jurisdiction, this committee has the jurisdiction because for the past several years, no, hindi lang to OBP, hindi lang to DepEd, all other agencies in government, and that includes LGU, may problema tayo because during the investigation in other committee, especially in my committee in the public accounts, question of the bank secrecy law is being invoked by the land bank. And this time, you cannot invoke because we have now the checks. We have now the checks that was encashed in your branch. Now, the first, eto, bibigay ko sa inyo, for Gina Acosta. This check was addressed to Gina Acosta in Shaw Boulevard branch. Shaw Boulevard. Sino ba yung ang manager nyo? Shaw Boulevard. Nandito ba siya? Wala. Wala. Comsec, Mr. Chairman, I move to invite the branch manager of Shaw Boulevard Land Bank in the next hearing.
Comsec, please
Noted,
take
Your
note of
Honor.
the manifestation of Congressman Paduano.
And with regards to DepEd, to the DepEd, nandito rin po yung mga cheque. The total is 112.5 million for 37.5 every check, million every check. Now this is from a land bank dito po sa Dex, sa Ultra Compound. Do you have a branch? So, Mr. Chairman, once again, I move that we invite the branch manager of this land bank branch for the
Comsec.
DepEd.
Comsec, please take note of the manifestation of Congressman Paduano.
Now, let me proceed na lang, Mr. Chair, matter of policy with regards to land bank. What is the maximum reserve fund of those mentioned branches?
ABP, Camposano, would you like to respond?
Different branches have different CI cash in vault levels, sir.
Tanong ko magkano yung sa branch na yon, yung sa Ultra at saka doon sa Sio Boulevard.
I'm not aware of the Shaw Boulevard branch, but with the DepEd branch, it's 10 million.
10 million. Okay, but the check that was in cash, or that's why I wanted the manager of that such branch. Kasi alam ko hindi niyo naman masasagot. Pero I want her to be present in the next hearing because if the maximum reserve fund of that branch is only 10 million, the check that was it's either in cash or deposited to other banks or other bank accounts was 37.5 million. And it happens not only once, it happens several times. Tatlong cheque po dito ang hawak namin. Kompleto po, pati yung mga check number nandito. So, I hope, Land Bank, you bring your branch manager the next hearing. And please prepare also for the reserve fund of the Shaw Boulevard branch.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Your Honor.
let me proceed, Mr. Chairman. So what will, specifically, what will be if in the case of the Ultra Compound branch, maximum is only 10 million. What will happen if the encashment is more than 10 million? And in this case, it's 37.5 million.
We usually ask our client to call us in advance, 2 days or 1 day before the encashment, for us to prepare the amount.
Okay, so 1 day or 2 days notice for the client.
Yes.
Okay. Now next. Di ba pag yung client, yung check is under the client's name, he should be or she should be physically present
Yes, sir.
during encashment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yun. We will also check that. If Edward Farda, in the case of DepEd, and Jen Acosta is physically and personally present during the encashment. Okay?
Yes.
Now, next question. With the amount of 125 million and 37.5 million, this is just a matter of policy. And I do believe that he cannot bring it wherever he wants, if that was an encashment. So, what will happen?
Sir, I cannot understand what.
Okay, eto lang po. Do you allow delivery of such amount or big cash amount from if the client requests for it
No,
to
sir.
be delivered?
No, sir.
No. Are you sure of that, attorney? Are you sure that it is not allowed?
It depends, sir. If we have a memorandum of agreement with the agency,
Ano lang po,
with the-
pakilapit-lapitan lang po.
It depends if we have an agreement with the client, if with a memorandum of agreement for delivery of payroll of whatever.
Correct. If you have a memorandum of agreement,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, ganito po. Please submit to this committee because I do not believe that Jen Acosta and Mr. Farda encash that amount, then brought with them to their office or to any place. Diba? So please bring and submit to this committee that MOA particularly the branch that was mentioned. Is the branch allowed to have a MOA with the client with such amount? For example, in this case, 37.5 million in one encashment. And the other is much bigger, 4 times. That's 125 million. Do you allow land bank branches to initiate a MOA with your client with such amount of fund?
It depends on the agreement, sir, with the branch and with the client.
Sandali po, matter of policy po, tinatanong ko, do the central office of land bank allows,
Yes.
kahit anong halaga?
Yeah. If there is a MOA, if there is a memorandum of agreement, sir.
Hindi nga, yun ang tanong ko eh. Okay, sabihin na natin, may memorandum of agreement. Wala po bang ceiling na amount that you allow the branch? Okay, ganito lang po. If you cannot answer that, please prepare for it on the next hearing. Kasi yun pong mga tanong kasi, Mr. Chairman, I just want to make it clear why I am asking this question, because the banking laws should also be amended, especially the bank secrecy law, because supposedly government funds should be exempted. And in the bank secrecy law, there should be a special provision for it. And well, in fact, supposedly, especially government banks, with regards to MOA, dapat po may ceiling. Kasi, alam naman po natin, okay lang yan pag government fund, but if personal fund, kung may money laundering, well, in fact, until now, it's still 500,000, di ba? Ma'am?
Yes.
500,000 pa rin, di ba?
Above 500,000, sir.
Above 500,000? 500 lang. 500,000 yung...
No, it's above 500,000.
If above 500,000,
Di ba? Above 500,000.
what is the policy?
Sir. In the AMLA, sir.
Sorry? Pakilapit lang po yung...
Any transactions above 500,000 shall be reported to the AMLA.
Ayun na nga eh. Yun na nga yung sinasabi ko eh. But in this case, kung 500,000 yung maximum, pero yung withdrawal, especially ito, government funds, 37.5 million, 125 million. Kaya nga, Mr. Chairman, again, I would like to reiterate na kailangan talaga ma-revisit yung banking laws and particularly yung bank secrecy law. Kasi this in my 11 years in Congress with regards to investigation, especially the which land bank or government banking institution is involved, lagi po nakatali yung kamay ng Kongreso because of this bank secrecy law. But again, you cannot anymore invoke that bank secrecy law because COA has already submitted all the checks. But I will not ask about the details in the next hearing with regards to how much is the actual bank, yung laman ng bank account ng DepEd or the Office of the Vice President. But I will ask you, how did these transactions happen? Kasi po, unang-una, ang tanong po, ano ba to? Si Edward Farda, cash encashment bang ginawa niya o yung cheque, transfer niya sa ibang bangko?
Encashment, sir.
Sigurado ka, encashment?
Yes, sir.
Paano mo nalaman?
I was the former branch manager of the DepEd branch, sir.
Okay. So ito, alam mo.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Kaya alam mo.
Yes,
So you're familiar about all these checks
Yes, sir.
and how these checks was encashed.
Yes, sir.
And how was it delivered? The cash.
It was not delivered.
Oh. Alam mo. Yung delivery from the bank. Ikaw yung branch manager, hindi mo alam how it was delivered.
The, the, the cash from our cash center, sir, or the cash for the ano
No,
for
for example, we're talking about the first check, 37.5 million. Ang bangko nyo ba nag-deliver? O
Over the counter.
binitbit ni Farda?
I think the question, ma'am, is how it was encashed. So kung paano po ba to over the counter?
Yes, sir.
So isang bagsak, magkano pong amount yan, Congressman?
37.5 million.
So yung 37 po ba, in over the counter yung pag-encash
Yes, sir.
on the same day? 37 was released, 37 million
Yes.
pesos was released.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sigurado ka ba, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all four, 3 ba or 4 checks? 3 checks. Ganon ang ginawa yung 37.5 million?
I will have to check first.
Oh, tama
I
si
cannot
attorney.
recall how many checks.
Oh, you should recall. Kasi pupunta tayo doon hanggang doon sa kung kailangan namin ipasubuin na yung CCTV nyo. Papasubuin na namin.
Ang tanong po ni Congressman Paduano, on 3 occasions, 3 cheque po kasi yan, 37.5 million. Ito po ba 37.5 million in cash over the counter on the same date? I mean, 3 separate dates.
Ma'am, ganito lang po. With this huge amount, para safe ka, baka mamaya magkamali ka, then gagawa ka ng kwento para to defend your position, at the same time yung opisina mo, better recall mo muna. Basta sabihin mo lang yung totoo, ma'am.
Yes,
Kung ano talaga nangyari.
Yes, sir.
Kasi, pag lumabas na nagsisinungaling ka, you will violate our Section 11. Alam mo na yon. Alam mo
Contempt!
yung consequence.
Yes, sir.
Citing contempt.
So, siguro,
Section 11.
prepare na lang po for the next hearing. No? Yung mga possible
Ayos ka, Paduano,
Be sure na kung transfer, it was
Section
transferred
11, citing contempt mo na yan.
accounts. Kung pinangkas, at tinatid. Diba? Or, pinaingkas, binitbit ni Edward. Tama?
Yes.
Okay. So, for the meantime, Mr. Chairman, yun lang muna. I think I have already called the attention of the BTR and
Kumuha sa akin.
sandali. Ito, boss. Ito. Mr. Chairman, last na lang pala po, baka makalimutan ko lang. So, okay na ako doon sa COA, next hearing na lang, at saka sa Land Bank, no? Pakidala na lang po. Kung hindi mo ma-recall talaga, pakidala ng teller mo. The time. Because this amount, 37.5 million, pag sinabi mo hindi mo alam, mabuti sinabi mo, alam mo. Kasi I will not believe in you na hindi mo alam because ganito kalaki, dapat alam ng branch manager, di ba? Okay, anyway. Ganito na lang po. Chairman, maiksi na lang po ito.
Yes, please continue.
I'd like to take this opportunity because Miss Catalan is present.
Yes, Your Honor, she's present. Rauna Catalan from DepEd.
Please.
Miss,
Please take your seat.
Miss Catalan, for the information of everyone and the chair and this honorable committee, siya po yung isa sa mga pumirma as the head of the accounting department unit.
Comsec, nakapag-oath na po ba si Miss Catalan? Ma'am? Miss Catalan, nakapag-oath na po ba kayo? Last hearing, nakapag-oath na? Okay. Yes, please continue, Congressman Paduano.
Ma'am, are you still with the DepEd?
Yes, Your Honor.
And please tell us about your present position in DepEd.
I've been the chief accountant since 2010
Until now?
until now.
Until now. So, you're aware of this liquidation report that was submitted by COA to this committee, and your name was affixed in this liquidation report, and you have a signature on this liquidation report.
Yes, sir.
So you're aware.
I am aware of the face copy of the liquidation report, but the supporting documents were not presented to me.
So it was not presented to you. You just signed it.
It was,
You're the chief accountant.
yes, sir, but it was just a formality that it should be covered by a liquidation report.
No, but supposedly you're the chief accountant. You have checked.
But per joint circular, sir, it was stated that the liquidation report plus the supporting documents shall be submitted by the disbursing officer direct to the ICPAO without any presentation to the chief accountant.
Yung ICPAO po, saan po department under yun?
COA, yung Intelligence and Audit Office ng Intelligence and Confidential Funds.
COA, do you confirm it?
CR break lang po si Attorney Camora, sir.
So, okay. I will wait for Atty. Zamora. So, ma'am, are you telling this committee na ministerial lang yung sa'yo?
Come again, sir.
Are you telling us na ministerial lang po kayo? Pumirma kayo dito without looking at the liquidation?
Honestly, yes, sir, I will say yes.
Oh, di may problema. Because if ever a case will be filed against dito po sa liquidation na may problema, pumirma ka dito, di part ka ng case.
But then again, sir, under the joint circular, it was clearly stated that the documents and supporting documents to the liquidation report shall be directly submitted to the COA. And it means that it will not pass through the accounting.
Oh, GMC, COA, pakicheck nga, shall.
Mr. Chair, with the indulgence
Congressman
of
Acop,
Paduano,
you're recognized.
Madam Accountant, mukhang mali yata. If you read the joint circular, there's a provision there. Teka, hanapin ko. Kasi may kopya ako nun eh. Nakalagay doon, under paragraph 4.16, in case of misuse of the intelligence or confidential fund, and depending on the participation in the transaction, the budget officer, chief accountant, the treasurer, and the project officer may likewise be held accountable with the special dispersing officer. So you can be accountable, madam. It's a provision of the joint circular.
But then again, Your Honors, per provision 6.1.8.4, it was stated that the supporting document should be submitted by the, no, it's not. So sorry, again. That,
Mali yung binabasa mo.
Sir-
6.1.8.4?
sir, my apologies, sir.
Oh, kasi mali eh.
Okay.
I have a copy of your circular here. Binabasa ko nga eh.
So it was under 6.2, the liquidation of the cash advance. It was stated under 6.2.2, all cash advances for CF and IF shall be liquidated within 30 days after every quarter and from the approved date, target date of completion. Submission of the liquidation report duly signed by the head of agency or SDO, approved by the head of agency, together with the supporting documents under section 6.2.3 hereof and listed in the covering transmittal letter of the LR. This shall be submitted directly to the ICPAO in a sealed envelope with a visible label confidential for ICPAO only through any of the following: registered mail courier and authorized license officers. So under this provision, it was clearly stated or implied that the documents didn't pass through or were not reviewed by the accounting office.
So how do you reconcile that with paragraph 4.16? Sige nga. Kasi ini-excuse mo yung sarili mo because of a provision of the circular. But the same circular says that you can be accountable. How do you reconcile that? Kasi nasa akin yung kopya ng circular ninyo, ng COA, eh. Oh. Kaya nga ako nag-intervene dahil ini-excuse mo yung sarili mo sa liability. Pero the circular says that you can be liable. Diba? Yeah. You read 4.16. Wala pa yung COA eh.
May we know from the representative of COA to be clarified as on the matter?
Your Honor, based on the documents from our confidential team, the liquidation report that was signed by Ms. Catalan, certified supporting documents complete and proper as the accounting unit. But then if looking at the joint circular, it's stated there that the liquidation report in Annex E should be signed by the SDO, the accounting unit, or the SDO, meaning SDO Special Disbursing Officer who was given the cash advance of the confidential fund, the Special Disbursing Officer. So if she was not the SDO,
Ano po yung sinicertify ng accountant?
when she signed the liquidation report of the 37.5,
Certifying that
certifying that
We ask Attorney Camora, mayroon po ba kayong nakita sa inyong pag-audit? Saan ho ba nagkaroon ng YLS and IEC na hindi consistent sa location ng payment of reward?
Mr. Chair, yung location ng YLS and IEC is based on the certification po. These are the areas covered po nung activities. On the other hand, sa DEP po, yung payment of rewards, pwede po kasing yung informant is nasa ibang lugar or address po kasi niya yon or address niya kung saan man siya.
That
kung
is
saan
a
man
possibility, but
Opo.
I am certain that you were not able to inquire about that information anymore.
We don't inquire po beyond the
I understand, but are you really
receipts.
allowed to assume? Kasi what you are telling us is just an assumption. Pwede po na ang source of information ay nakatira sa Batangas. At magbibigay po siya ng impormasyon tungkol po sa Zamboanga del Norte. How do you think a person residing in Batangas will be familiar on what is going on in Zamboanga del Norte?
That is a personal ano lang po. But actually po, table audit lang po talaga ang audit ng confidential funds. So, it's talaga po kung ano yung sinubmit na documents.
In other words, Attorney Camora, you do not pay attention anymore even when the source of information are residing in places far from the site of the youth leadership summits and the information and education campaign.
Hindi na po namin tugma your...
But were you able to see and observe these inconsistencies during your auditing? Nakita nyo po ba yon? I believe so. That is why you stated earlier na pwede naman pong nakatira sa ibang lugar and he will be giving information about another place.
Yes, Mr. Chair. But
You observe it during the auditing, but you did not conduct any further inquiry as to the correlation between the source of the information and the recipient or the location of the recipient of the YLS and the IECs. Do you agree?
yes, Mr. Chair.
Hindi nyo na po pinansin. Mr. Chair, to conclude, dito po sa dalawang slides na ating ipinakita, if we will be anchoring our analysis on the programs of DepEd, it will appear that only 4,250,000 was spent for the counterinsurgency program, Mr. Chair. And therefore, there remains an unaccounted amount equivalent to 10,490,000 out of the total confidential fund, which is 15,540,000. Meanwhile, Mr. Chair, if we will be anchoring our analysis on the location of the source of information and the location of the recipients of the Youth Leadership Summits and the Information and Education Campaign, what is consistent with respect to their location is equivalent only to the amount of 4,282,000 pesos. So there remains also an unexplained amount of 10,490,000 pesos. Nasaan naman po kaya itong amount na ito? Mr. Chair, in conclusion, I wish to believe that the confidential fund of the Department of Education was not properly recorded at its best, or misspent, or misappropriated at its worst. It is the humble submission of this representation that there is a prima facie case of malversation, and in addition, an apparent case of breach of public trust. For us to be able to know whether there is malversation, 4 elements must be present. Number 1, there must be a public official. 2, he is the custodian of fund. 3, the fund must be for public purpose. And 4th, the public official took, appropriated, misappropriated, or consented, or through abandonment or negligence, permitted another person to take them. For the information of the public, ang malversation po can be done intentionally. We call it dolo, which is with criminal intent. And it can be done as well by negligence. We call it culpa, or by negligence. In other words, with or without criminal intent. If the 4 elements are present, which I believe they are present, there's a prima facie case of malversation. With respect to the breach of public trust, this is the violation of public's confidence in a public officer's ability to serve with integrity, impartiality, and in accordance with law. Public trust is mandated by no less than the fundamental law of the land. That is the Philippine Constitution. We wish to express our utmost trust and confidence to the 19th Congress of the Philippines in addressing the apparent infractions of our rules on malversation and breach of public trust. And to the Filipino people, Mr. Chair, rest assured that this committee will legislate the necessary laws to safeguard not only confidential fund, but all public funds. As likewise, we commit to recommend the filing of the necessary actions against people found liable for committing these infractions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro. The Chair will now move to the next interpellator, Congressman